Well, people, we have another Christmas film, and this time it is Candy Cane Lane. Right, it is the new Amazon Prime joint. You know what I mean? So, this is a bit of a star studded affair. So, although I was gonna boycott Christmas, I was like, okay, let me give this one a go. It's directed by Reginald Hudlin and written by Kelly Younger. The film is produced by dum dum dum. Boy, there's a lot of people in this film. Eddie Murphy, Karen Lunder, Carice M. Hewitt, and Brian Grazer. Executive produced by Douglas C. Merrifield. Marcus Miller handles music. Newton Thomas Siegel, cinematography, while Jim May and Kenny G. Krause edit the piece. Victoria Thomas was on casting duties. Aaron Osborne production design, while costume design is Sharon Davis. So, who is in the film, you may ask? Well, people, Eddie Murphy stars in it and he plays Chris Carver. His wife, Carol, is played by Tracy Ellis Ross. He's got his eldest daughter, who is Joy, who is played by Jenia Walton. His son, Thaddeus J. His son is played by Thaddeus J. Mixon. That's Nick Carver. And his youngest daughter, Holly, is played by Madison Thomas. We then have got let's go. Pepper is played by Jillian Bell. Cordelia is played by Robin Thede. Lamplighter Gary is played by Chris Reed. And Pip is played by Nick Offerman. Santa Claus is played by David Alan Grier. Chris's neighbor, Bruce, is played by Ken Marino. Shelley is played by Angela Johnson Reyes. Scott is played by Lombardo Boya. Emerson, played by Timothy Simmons. There is Kit, played by Danielle Pinnock. Josh, played by DC Youngfly. Sella, played by Man Benson. Claire Belle Legrand. The Notre Dame Scout is played by Tygo Roberts. Trey is played by Travont Rhodes. Donald James Dumont. Kimmer. Ali Astin. North Carolina Scout is played by Kimberly Christian. That's probably all the main people. I'd say the carolers are played by Pentanix, Scott Hoying, Kirsten Maldonado, Mitch Grassi, Kevin Ulusa, and Matt Sally. All right, so yeah, that's all the caroling people that we see. Yeah, that's I would say that's our main lot of people. I feel there's a load of people that appear. Yeah. But that should be it. Now, the gist of the film is this. Dum-dum. We follow the adventure about a man on a mission to win his neighborhood's annual Christmas home decoration contest. After Chris inadvertently makes a deal with a mischievous elf named Pepper to better his chances of winning, she casts a magic spell that brings the 12 days of Christmas to life and wreaks havoc on the whole town. At the risk of ruining the holidays for his family, Chris, his wife Carol, and their three children must race against the clock to break Pepper's spell, battle deviously magical characters, and save Christmas for everyone. So supposedly, right? Supposedly, Kelly Younger, he wrote this film and used inspiration from his childhood. I don't know what kind of childhood old Kelly had. Because, boy, if there were elves and, Christmas ornaments that came to life, that's some crazy motherfucking childhood. You know what I mean? I'm surprised old Kells ain't in therapy, you know? So, yeah, like star power abound in this one. Reg is directing. I mean, Hudlin makes great films. So there was a lot to want to ingest with this one. And I will say this, right? It looks nice, right? I thought the production was good. I even thought the Christmas songs and music they used, right, was all right. It wasn't grating. I was like, I ain't heard that one. That one's, yeah, maybe I wouldn't hate Christmas music if I'd heard some of this stuff. So all of those elements I thought were pretty decent. And the acting is solid, I mean? The acting isn't terrible or anything like that. The thing that is the issue is the story. And I think if you had just kept the story at bare basics, it would have worked a lot better. But we have so much going on here and stuff that doesn't necessarily impact the film. Right? We have a job situation going on for Chris and Carol. Right? For both of them, there's this job thing that really does nothing for the film. Doesn't drive the film forward. If neither are going on, the film's the film. And you might go, oh, but Chris's situation forced him to go and buy the thing. But I'm just like, he would have probably bought that anyway. Because it's just, he's in a rivalry with his neighbor, right? Him and Bruce going back and forth. So, there's a reason for him to do that without the work thing. You know what I mean? So you have that all going on. You then create this situation with his oldest daughter and his son, which I don't even know why. Right? It's not like there's just silly things. You know what I mean? The reasoning doesn't necessarily really, I mean, it just doesn't make sense with his daughter. That whole situation is just like, what? There's just about different colleges. And you're just like, I mean, you'd think there would just be it would just be like, oh, you want to do that? Oh, what about the tradition? Well, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? But it's just, yeah, it's weird. That's all weird. And then the whole track situation is weird with the scouts, right? The whole dismissals and then the come talk to, like, no, what are we doing here? What are we? I don't know. And then the sun thing, right? The music and like, we always have this. We always, for some weird reason, there is never, like, people can never do two things. You know, there's never encouragement to do things. It's always one or the other, right? And I think I remember as I watched the first couple of seasons, I think, of My Wife and Kids, right? And Junior, I think it's Junior's. I feel Junior is the kid's name, right? Um, it's basically he is the son in this one, right? He's Nick, you know, doesn't like maths, right? And it's just this weird thing. Like, it doesn't really make any sense. The whole thing with Nick at the school makes no sense because you're just like, wait, how does he wait, what's going on? Like, and why? Right? It was just this weird scene that's just like, wait, what's happening here? What's the reason and rationale for this? It was just a weird addition. And there seems, they're throwing in these kind of side little plots and stories and just all of this kind of jazz. And you're just like, huh? What? But one, like, the situation, though, the main story situation, he wants to have this incredible decorated house. And you know this goes on supposedly, right? This is based on reality, right? I think I read there's a place in America, there's a famous lane, right? And it's known as Candy Cane Lane because everyone always visits there in California. I feel that's the thing. So it's based on this thing, and he wants to have the best house, right? But finding Pepper's shop, you just think there's so many questions, but you'd be like, wait, this shop that's not usually here, and now there's this thing here. So that's not a red flag. When someone's like, sign, don't, oh, should I read the term and conditions? No, don't read the term. Just sign it. Just sign it. You're just like, I'm going to read the terms. And you know what I mean? Like, just all of that it was a weird approach. Right? If you just had him at the very beginning, just go, oh, that's long. No one reads these. Or just something, you know, just brush it off. But to have Pepper, like, say what she says, then makes it a weird situation because no one's doing it, right? And we've got this whole news thing going on where you've got the two news anchors, and one seems to be oblivious on everything. And you're just like, how would Homie be oblivious? Right? Suppose he doesn't know what a prize is. He doesn't know who the anchor is. There's all this information that he doesn't know. And you're just like, how would that be a thing? Right? Both of them would be getting the information in their ear, right? Both of them would be getting that information. You work on the show, you get the prep for the show. So that whole thing was weird. And you just feel they're throwing it kind of in there to be this comedic relief, but it's not funny. I mean, for me anyway, I didn't find it funny. It was just, yeah, just this weird thing of people saying stuff for whatever reason, but not being on the same page. And you're just like, how would that be a thing? How would that be a thing? Right. And I didn't get the whole Pip situation. Right. Why always throw a weird British character into these kind of things? Because the accent is always dreadful. Right? The accent is always dreadful. Right? It was just a bit bizarre. A bit bizarre. Now, people, people. If I will say this, right? I feel if you enjoyed Best Christmas Ever, right? If that was your big thing, if you loved that film, then I kind of think that you will most likely enjoy this film, right? Yeah, I feel that would probably, yeah, that would probably work for you. There was a Christmas film on Netflix. I think it was last year, right? It had oh, what is my man's name? I think it had Lawrence Fishburne in it. And there was like they ran a big Christmas shop, and the daughter, I think, was wanted to take it over or something like that. Right? It's a, yeah, one of those films. But I think if you like that, there's Click and Collect from a few years ago, starring Steve Merchant. If those films are your favorites, like Jingle All the Way, stuff like that, then Candy Cane Lane, you'll enjoy it, you know, because it has all that Christmas stuff there, you know, and most Christmas films, the story is all over the place, right? It is convoluted, it makes no sense. There's weird things happening that have no say on the story, but they're this big thing, you know? So, yeah, if those films are for you, then Candy Cane Lane will most likely work. So it's out on Prime, right? So if you got Prime, you like everything Eddie Murphy does. Yeah. So if you like Coming to America 2, right? If you like that, if you liked You People, boom, Candy Cane Lane. Yeah. Deck the halls with terrible Christmas films.